Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Weekly Collective, the first one of the new year. I hope everybody is doing well and staying warm if you're in an inclement weather kind of day like we have here in LA. We've been having rain off and on for a couple of weeks. I'm sure that it's rainy and snowy in many parts of the world, so please take care of yourselves. Welcome. If it's your first time here, you picked a great time to show up. Basically, the collective is an opportunity to do like 3 or 4 little mini readings all together to help us get ready for the week ahead. And you chose a special topic this week, which is basically to get a jump start on anything that you might be procrastinating on, which I think we can all relate to in the new year. So good choice, everybody. Thanks for voting and welcome again. So I always like to begin with channeled messages, but first of all, before anyone asks, Apollo is behind us. You can see the rain kind of keeping him nice and cool and calm and collected. All right, channeled messages. As I was getting ready for the reading today, meditating, I kept seeing like puzzle pieces, like a jigsaw puzzle, and frustration associated with trying to figure out like what the big picture is. And I don't really play puzzles that much, jigsaw puzzles, but one thing that you kind of want to focus on is figuring out where the obvious choice is. Like you find 2 or 3 pieces where they start to fit together, and then it just starts to slowly materialize. And you just have to start somewhere. Keep trying too. If you try to solve it in 10 minutes, it's not going to work, particularly if there's a lot of pieces. So what I get for some of you is that there's so many moving pieces to this new year. There's a lot of distractions, and it's saying just pick a corner to focus on today in particular. And things will start to kind of show a pattern. That's the other thing too. You start to look for patterns in the puzzle. Again, I don't think I've played one for many, many years, decades, but that's what I remember is find patterns, find places where those patterns fit together, and before you know it, you have like one corner done. One step at a time, one piece at a time, but the patterns piece, I think, is the key to success today. What are the patterns that allow you to feel like you're making progress? Are there other patterns or habits that are breaking down or distracting you from that progress? These are the things that you want to focus on as the day begins. The other thing was kind of, it's a unique thing to come through, but it was a script. And I kind of felt like it was like a reality show and scripted reality. And that's not how real life is. This is a reminder that sometimes you have to go off script and just do what feels right for you. I feel like we all try to sometimes curate, project, or script out a version of ourselves for the world. And in this time when there's so much AI and other things, I think people crave reality, realness, not like the scripted or surreal reality that we see out there, but like actual, real, gritty you. So don't be afraid to be your authentic self. I think that's one thing in this year in particular that can help set you apart. And I think for a lot of you that are creative, this is true, but for everybody, we need to kind of show something unique, something real, something different from the homogeny that's out there, from all of the sameness. This is a time to lean into differentness, into uniqueness. And we can see that even in things that are going on in movies and television. It's the sort of sleeper stuff that's coming to the mainstream right now. So like the heated rivalry, for instance, because you take that versus like Stranger Things, which was a little bit of a disappointment because they didn't really take any risks. So don't be afraid to take a risk and try something new, something different, and be yourself. Okay? Let's get into the reading and see what's coming forth. I always like to begin with a 7-day forecast, which is a really tactical and practical look at the week ahead. So let's get started. Take a moment, if you will, close your eyes, and imagine that you are, even if it's a rainy day like it is in LA, that you're sitting under the sun and you can feel its warmth and radiance shining on your crown chakra. And as you're doing so, welcome in your angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters, okay? All right, let's begin with the energy for today, Sunday. We have the Page of Wands. Try not to overthink things. With this in the upright position, you can see the crown chakra is wide open, ideas are coming through. Trust that sort of connection to source. Pages are communicative, pages are active. Take the idea and plant it. So she's sitting here ostensibly looking at a sapling or new tree. Something has just been planted. And remember, like the puzzle pieces, it takes time when you transplant something, when you put something brand new into motion for it to actually take root. So patience is one thing that I'm picking up on loud and clear. The other thing here is show what you're trying to convey rather than just telling. So the Page of Swords definitely will tell and take action. The Page of Wands may demonstrate, prototype, point to a real life example to help somebody understand. It's also about passion and inspiration. So when we're looking at patterns and looking at things that gel, something that can help you create some of that gelling or alignment would be something that gets you excited and passionate and really sort of like lights up all of the chakras. So if you're not feeling it, focus on something where you really are feeling that sense of passion and inspiration. Page of Wands can take you to the next level, but you have to focus on believing, feeling, and connecting to whatever it is that's in front of you. Okay? All right. Now, in the energy of Monday, we have Nine of Wands. Yeah, Nine of Wands in the reverse position. So with this card reversed, a little bit of fatigue, a little bit of fear might be coming through, but invariably it's one of the most stubborn cards you can pull. I do like this deck, but I think that there's a little bit better illustration with the traditional one, so I'll pull that and then we'll compare and contrast. So in the traditional card, which we'll see in just a moment, the person has a bandage on their forehead, but they're still standing their ground. Here we go. So in this one, you can actually see he's been battered a bit, and I think that's important. And what this represents, it's not literal, it's figurative. It means like sometimes you've just been through the ringer. You've had to fight for being heard, being seen. You've had to kind of like roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty, make it happen. And sometimes it's like, okay, I'm kind of tired of this. And it's okay to feel that. We see a little bit more resilience here. She's taking a break, but she's like, I'm not going anywhere. He's showing that in order to get to that state, you might need to rest your head a little bit. Like the bandage isn't just about like an injury on your head. It's also saying, you know what? I'm fatigued and I think I'm at the point of diminishing returns where I can't focus, concentrate, or be my best self. So when that happens, give yourself a moment to rest. The moment can be 5 minutes or, 5 hours, whatever you need. Make sure that you're resting and then come back and finish what you've started. And that's the main message here. Don't give up. Because the inclination with the Nine of Wands in the reverse position is to give up. But the progress that you've made is so substantial that you're just one step away, one day away, just within reach for that finish line. So why not go the distance? Okay? You can fight for what you want. And people may underestimate you. But this is like the Energizer Bunny. It never runs out of steam. Really, it never gives up. So you want to continue to push. It will be worth the work. You may not get the immediate gratification that you want on Monday, but don't give up. And that's the main thing here. If there's someone around you that is a little bit pushy, because this can be a pushy card, just like 10 of Wands when reversed, or they're trying to psych you out. It could be like verbally abusive sometimes too, or taunting or teasing, then definitely don't give them too much mental real estate. In fact, say, that doesn't work with me, or stop it. Or talk to someone who can stop this if it is inappropriate. But otherwise, usually we're our own sort of inner saboteur that day, psyching ourselves out, wanting to take a break. It is a card where you are very close to finishing something, so don't lose perspective. Celebrate the progress rather than feeling the fatigue. Definitely you want to go to that glass half full rather than empty. All right, Page of Swords coming through the following day on Tuesday. Could be some good news. Might also be feeling like you're ready to take action. Spread your wings. This is a good day to work with others and communicate your ideas. In a relationship, let people know how you feel. Show people how you feel as well. This is also action. The main difference between the Page of Wands and the Page of Swords, again, is the way that you're talking and showing. This one, Page of Wands, which is today, is much more demonstrative. This one is a lot more verbal. So you're explaining things, and it's a lot more actionable too, like you're actually doing it. Rather than saying, I want to do it, or showing that this is how it's done, you're doing it. Setting things into motion, getting signatures on the dotted line, having important conversations. Suffice it to say, this is probably, as I'm looking at the deck or the cards in front of me, in the work week at least, one of the best cards and one of the best days to be productive and to get things going, okay? The middle of the week is interesting. We have Two of Swords coming through for Wednesday. And so this is a day, the word outsider comes through, where you're feeling maybe like you're not being seen. So you see the blindfolds there. You can be in a crowded room and no one's paying attention. You can be in an intimate conversation with a partner and you're not feeling seen and heard. So pause and just let someone know, say, wait a second, I have a question or I have a thought. And I remember once being in a long time ago in one of my corporate jobs, like in a boardroom where all of my ideas were being dismissed. And I, in frustration, said, maybe, well, I'll just stop saying things because you're not listening. It was inappropriate. It wasn't the best tone, but I could have said, this is a brainstorming session. Please put it on the board. My ideas are just as valid as yours. That's how I should have done it in a powerful way. I later got reprimanded saying, never put yourself down like that. And I agreed. So now I would advocate. I would say, wait a second. You may not like it, but we might be able to piggyback off that later. We're supposed to be, whiteboarding here. Put it on the board, please. Don't discount it. So you can advocate for yourself, or you can just decide later, I've had enough of this place. So if you don't feel like you're a part of it, that also is a form of communication. So you're either going to use your voice or realize, I'm not being appreciated in this relationship, in this job, in this extracurricular activity. What am I doing? This is forcing you to look within. So whatever's going on around you is more an indication of something that you need to see within. And for that, I was like, I could use my voice, vision, and skills better somewhere else. That was the big takeaway. Not that they were ignoring me, not that I could have articulated it better, not that I'd allowed this to happen for a while. It was like, enough now. Now what? So you're really being asked to go within. Something doesn't fit, like the puzzle pieces, but it's asking you to look. Maybe there's a better fit than this. Okay? You can get curious and inquisitive with Two of Swords on Wednesday. Sometimes people are vague and you don't get it. So just say, can you break that down? Or I'm not clear on show me what you mean. Ask them to go into the Page of Wands energy. Something isn't clear. Don't continue to allow that to progress, because as we look at Thursday, it could go from Two of Swords to Three of Swords, but it's avoidable. Either way, you may feel more sensitive on Thursday. Your feelings may be more apt to be triggered, hurt, or just feeling like you're wearing your heart on your sleeve. So focus on taking a step back and not immediately communicating when something is received. Three of Swords, you need time for that to percolate a little bit, because the next card is Four, which is wait. So on Thursday, you may want to immediately say something. Buy yourself some time and wait. And then you're going to have more perspective. If something doesn't feel right, look right, or just legitimately isn't right, you can articulate that and say, hey, I feel like can we talk tomorrow or later? Just again, buy yourself a little bit of time. If something is disappointing, someone doesn't do what they said they were going to do, something doesn't feel right, just something isn't right, then also focus on kind of like what I was talking about with the previous card. How did I get here, and what am I going to do with this? Focus on the processing, okay? Rejection is a form of protection, but it is the most annoying form of protection. So you can also tell your guides and higher self, all right, I know now that this doesn't fit or work. I don't need to feel this anymore. Let's focus on how to move beyond this, okay? So anyway, take special care of yourself, I would say, on Thursday, and try not to say or do anything when you're feeling that extra emotion that sometimes happens with the Three of Swords, okay? Now let's take a look at the end of the week. We have the two blindfolded cards coming forth. So Tuesday you had Two of Swords. Friday we have Eight of Swords. They're different, and I'm going to break down how they're different. On Friday, it can be a prison of your own making. So a prison of thought. If you think that something can't happen, it won't probably. For instance, let's say you're looking at a school that you want to apply to, and you think to yourself, I'll never fit in there. I'm not going to put in the application. Well, that's like an obvious example of you shut a door before you even allowed the potential of it to be opened. Or you see someone attractive and you want to spark a conversation and see if they have a mutual spark. If you don't do it, you'll never know. You'll lose every risk that you never take. So it's really worth allowing yourself to imagine that it could work out. That's how you overcome Eight of Swords. But if you can't see it, how do you expect the universe to see it and come forth and help you out? So take a chance. Take a chance on yourself. What's that ABBA song? Is it Take a Chance or whatever? So take a chance on yourself. Go out there. Explore something that's out of your comfort zone. There could also be something that really is unclear on Friday. And if you're feeling like you've exhausted all options, then ask and say, I don't know about this, right? Also, listen to your instincts. If you're looking at something and you feel claustrophobic, trapped in, like this doesn't give me what I need, that's a completely different feeling. If you feel trapped and you legitimately are in something, then it's time to look for another way. Now, this card just shows someone being able to maybe fly out of the situation. In the traditional deck, the person is able to kind of like get loose of all of the, it's almost like she's in mummy wrappings, but like to basically get unshackled and just walk in a different direction. So what I would say on, we're looking at Friday here, what you could try to do is just anything that you haven't already kind of done, step out of your comfort zone and innovate, try new things. So yeah, in this card, you'll notice the swords aren't actually creating a prison. She could step forward. She could step backward. She could just push open those wrappings around her. They're not even really tied tightly. It feels like she could just get loose. It's just a matter of telling yourself, I'm done with this, and really lean into freedom, liberation, and places in your life where you're not being held back, sometimes by yourself, okay? So someone said this whole week feels rough. I feel like today is good. I feel like Monday is good. And I feel like you have a really good weekend. So honestly, the only rough days are Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but you're getting ahead of yourselves. And by the way, you just Eight of Swords did. I just verbed that. If you say this is a rough week, guess what? You're manifesting a rough week. You could say, wow, I'm needing to step into being more articulate. I need to not allow myself to feel too sensitive. I need to reach out of my comfort zone. But if I do this, I could thrive. Then you're like, yeah, there's some twists and turns, but it doesn't have to be a rough week. I'm aware of what's happening. It's like the rainy streets right now in Los Angeles. It's rough if you try to go the speed limit, if you don't slow down. So imagine that the week ahead has some drizzle. You just go a little slower. You pay attention to the signs. You look and make sure that the person in front of you is doing that. You can get home safely. Not if you rush, not if you don't pay attention, and definitely not if you're afraid. You have to sort of just be cool, calm, collected, and go a little bit slower. Treat it like a rainy day when we have these swords cards coming through in Wednesday through Friday. It's 3 days. So let's not let 3 days take out the 7. That's not even all of them, right? It's not even half, okay? The rest of this week is manageable. I'm just trying to course correct in real time so that you guys don't get ahead of yourselves. And I'm not going to ever be super Pollyanna. I will always give you the tools that you need, but I am positive in my readings, but I'm also going to point out the days that need to be approached. So you're fine. You've got this. And case in point, Saturday you have the star. So sometimes you have to go through the bumps in the road. You have to go through some of the tumults to appreciate the blessings. And for people that I'm sure you've seen this in real life, people that are always blessed and always had all of the privileges, they may not appreciate that. But people who have struggled, lost, and maybe not always been there, when they get something amazing, whether it's love or money or success or all of that, they don't take it for granted because they know what the other side of the coin is. So this week is giving us context with which to appreciate the blessings that come through on Saturday. The Star card encourages you to be your authentic self, which we talked about when I was saying go off script in the channeled messages. This is the Star. Stars shine. Stars are conspicuous. Stars lead the charge. So this is a day where when you are ready and willing to do all of that, maybe because you've been through some of the challenges, you're like, I just want to do something that makes me happy. This is the day to do that. It's a fantastic time to put your energy anywhere you want. Much like the Magician, the Star card is like almost untouchable. So if you want to if you want to do something in a relationship, whether it's hang out with someone that you love or have a first date, you're shining, you're beaming. If you want to have a presentation or talk to someone about something new, they're listening. If you just want to do something for yourself, you're connected to Source and you're creative. I would say it's one of the best cards in the entire deck. So this is the day not to allow any of those thoughts that we were seeing, like even in there, like, oh, I'm not good enough. This isn't going to happen. This is a bad week. Let them go. Send them to the background and say, today I choose to entertain the possibility that it could be an amazing day, right? Okay. All right. And by the way, I'm not picking on anyone. I'm really trying in real time to just help us see that sometimes without knowing, we create a script or a path that doesn't need to be created. Let's not see this as a rough week. Let's see a couple of challenges that we can easily overcome because we showed up today. Rewriting and using different words. I have a friend that is a shaman on the East Coast, and he reminded me of that too. Rather than saying, I'm struggling with, say, I struggled previously with this, but I'm addressing it now. And now I'm in the energy of love, abundance, etc. You have to see yourself already in the solution and see the struggle as past tense. And in that sort of vein here, we have regaining power as the main focus 7 days from today, next Sunday. Emperor in reverse. Someone could be challenging your thoughts, your actions, what it is that you're trying to do, and you're going to stand your ground, hopefully. The Emperor is one of the strongest cards. This is the ultimate boss in the tarot deck, and it's basically not allowing someone to steamroll over you, not letting them silence your voice, that example that I gave of being in a boardroom and not being allowed to speak or not being taken seriously, And in a relationship, it could be someone that's condescending. Whatever it is, you're going to stand up and say, that doesn't work anymore. Or wait a second, I matter as much as you. And if not, then you might also choose to just use your time and energy on something else. That's what I chose ultimately. So the Emperor reverse could say, I'm pulling my time, energy, and resources back. It's a self-oriented card. Selfish isn't the right word. You're reclaiming and saying, you don't deserve it. I'm going to put it here, here, and here because it's more productive. Okay? So I do love what I'm seeing here with this, and I think that ultimately this is an opportunity for you to shine, be yourself, and reclaim your power as I'm looking at the overarching cards for this week. Okay, so let's look at the highlights and the challenges and recast that sort of feeling like, oh, it's going to be too heavy or too much. So highlights for this week. I think the best day is Saturday, upcoming. I think that today is a pretty good day. And I think that Monday you can get a lot done as well, Monday and Tuesday. The challenges, again, it's 3 out of the 7. And they're not even, these 2 I mentioned aren't the worst of the Swords cards. The 2 of Swords is just not feeling seen and heard. So speak up or ask a question. That's the main way you can get through this. This one is not imagining a different outcome and possibly letting fear win. This is the day that I think is the most challenging. There could be something going on elsewhere in your life, a friend, family member, etc., and it's kind of interfering with your normally very clear vision. So yeah, Wednesday through Friday, just slow down. This is the day to slow down. The rest of the week is very manageable, okay? Let's see what's coming through for the elements in the week ahead. Fire, earth. Well, air chose itself, and water. All right, we've got a bunch of reversals. I'm going to read them as nuanced energy. I'm going to try to help us get to the upright, but we'll talk about it. All right, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The general energy wants to take us into the Empress rather, but there's a little bit of hesitation. So Empress energy, first of all, when it is reversed, it's about moving inward and saying, I really want to take care of myself. So self-care, nurturing, pampering yourself if you haven't done that in a while, getting a massage, going to the doctor, taking a day off, all of that. Now, the regular upright version of this card is about stepping into your power. So rather than taking a back seat, letting people talk over you, this is the time to really speak up. Take the reins. This is going to be our main sort of topic today, but take the reins when it comes to your goals, dreams, and visions, and say, you know what, I might have been procrastinating, last week, but this week I'm going to change. I'm going to hold myself accountable, create a schedule, create a to-do list, put together some sort of vision board so that you know what it is that you want to focus on. You might also have an opportunity in life in general to kind of step into areas where you can be more in an authority role. So it's a great week. The challenges are mostly in your head, and we saw that on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So not letting your emotions get in the way, making sure that people don't discount what you have to say, and also making sure that you're trying different things and not rinsing and repeating the old script. Write a new script if you need to, okay? But overall, this is a perfect time to make sure that you are moving the needle forward on something. It's saying don't delay. The time is now, the time is right, and the hesitation is more in here and in here, but it's not really happening around you, okay? And by the way, this card in reverse can represent a desire to change, control, or influence people that don't want it or don't deserve it or aren't listening to it. So leave a door open. Know that you are a resource, a person to be valued and respected. But if people don't want to do it, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, use that fire and inspiration for yourself and make something amazing happen. Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. We have the Three of Wands, which is an energy of right here, right now. And this one is a little bit more active. We actually see her like swimming out to meet the opportunity rather than sitting back and waiting for the ships to come to her. In the reverse position, it is a reminder that sometimes opportunity could be available right here or right here, but you're only looking here. Eight of Swords energy towards the end of the week, if memory served. And the Two of Swords on Wednesday. So Wednesday and Friday, there's a solution. It's like right there, but you've got blinders on. You're focused on it happening in a different way, shape, or form. So know that it could happen right now if you're willing to do something that makes you not feel comfortable or secure because it's different. So it could involve moving. It could involve taking on a different role. It could involve stepping into the spotlight, the energy of Saturday, and shining a little bit brighter than you normally would. You're going to be fine this week. This is why I was trying to kind of like course correct when there was a fear of the few cards that showed struggle. I'm like, I don't think so. I just think we have some inner monologues that are getting in the way. Early bird gets the worm with this card too. So get up early. Focus on starting something earlier than later. If not, someone else is going to see the opportunity or seize the opportunity before you. But ultimately, Three of Wands, pretty good. Let's go to the air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We have a Seven of Pentacles. In the reverse position, it hasn't quite learned the lesson of balance from the previous card. So don't overextend yourself in time, energy, money, or resources. Ultimately, this card is one of growth, and I love that we see her there with the sort of water pail, and she's continuing to show up. Change takes time. Growth takes time. Healing also requires time and space. If you show up consistently, you may not see it, but others will. It's happening beneath the surface, and also it's kind of like when you make changes in your physical health. You start working out, and you're like, well, the scale isn't changing, but fat is converting to muscle, inches are shifting, and someone else sees you, and they're like, oh, have you been working out? You don't see it because you're looking at yourself in the mirror every day, and you're your own worst critic. For gardeners, if you've ever noticed, like if you take a trip for a week, especially if there's rainy weather like this and you've planted seeds and stuff, you don't see any growth when you're home. But if you come back, you're like, oh my God, it's like Jack and the Beanstalk. So whether it's growth or change, I gave two like obvious examples. Others will see it first, or you sometimes need distance or space to see what's happening. Get away from the situation for a second and then come back and view it with a fresh set of eyes. It is important to budget. It is important to be discerning. You can't do everything you want in the time that you want with the Seven of Pentacles. It's basically, you have to, just like the previous card, Six of Pentacles, balance it out and say, this is what I can accomplish now. Maybe I'll shift this to next week. Maybe I don't really need this. You start to make smart choices, some compromises here and there, but ultimately you can get what you want if you're a little bit more patient. Can't happen overnight. That's the main message this week. Definitely lean into your budget, look at your schedule, and be smart about expenditures in those areas. Relationships too. Are you getting what you give? And if you're giving too much and not receiving, it might be time to recalibrate. But I like Seven of Pentacles. Look at the card, a lot of growth. But you might not be seeing it or maybe even like appreciating it as much as someone else. Okay? Water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, perfectly aligned with you, especially, normally we have a lobster. Well, I think it still is a lobster. It almost looked like a crab for a second. But anyway, the Moon card. The Moon card can represent in the upright position power, influence, the ability to pull things into your sphere. In the reverse position, it can represent fear, anxiety, competition. Sometimes I look at the dog and the wolf as like competing for resources or attention. There's always a path to the moon. In this card, it's saying you're a lot closer than you might think. Also, be the source. I think I talked about this in the weekly, or the New Year's special, rather. It was either that or the weekly collective. But sometimes we're always looking for external sources of light. The moon is a reflecting sort of energy. It doesn't have its own innate power and energy within. It's even cooled down. And so anyway, it is a reflection, but you could be the source. In order for this light to shine, we're looking at you. You're the sun, you're the star. And we saw the star day, actually, which was Saturday. So lean into the fact that you're the light. You're the source. And people around you will be drawn to that and reflect. They're also going to reflect what you project. If it's confidence, if it's happiness, if it's passion, they reflect it back. If it's negativity, if it's fear, if it's doubt, that's what you're attracting. So we want to make sure that, what you want to see reflected, you're also putting out there. I mean, I think it's the most powerful lesson when it comes to, particularly when you're trying to find love, but trying to manifest anything. Be that which you seek. Don't try to find something that completes you or that satisfies you. On many levels, you have to find that within first. And then by the time you attract what you're looking for, you kind of don't want it or need it as much as you used to. And that's also why it's going to work, because there isn't this sort of like codependency. It's on equal footing. Be the light that you are. That's the takeaway this week. There could be people that are trying to test boundaries. The moon is sneaky. That little wolf is smart. It can sneak around. Dogs can do the same. Apollo's a little angel in the background. But there are times, he looks like a little fox right now. There are times when he can test boundaries. I know, buddy, I love you. He said, Dad, come on, be nice. But dogs, children, animals know how to test boundaries and limits. So you just have to remind them, don't do that. Sometimes because for their own best interest, right? If you know that there's something in your own life that triggers or tempts you, just recognize that and try not to kind of give in to that temptation. But sometimes it's about honesty and integrity. So lead with that and call it out if it isn't existing. So again, looking at this week, not terrible. These are good cards. And they were reversed and I helped us move beyond that. But I think you've got it, folks, okay? I put a link on the pinned comment. Sometime in the next week or so, I'm going to announce some special offerings that may be either behind membership on Patreon or somewhere else. I'm trying to do some new things this year, so sign up for the newsletter so I can announce it when I'm ready. I'll probably do some additional things here for everybody as well, but I'm shaking things up in this new year, so if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, do that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, why the heck not? We've been kind of stuck at a number for a while. I'd love to see us hit a new milestone. It's free. I think sometimes the word subscribe, it should just be follow, but I'm not the boss at YouTube. But anyway, hit subscribe, free, like the video, comment once you've done that, especially when it's on replay. And when this is done, follow me on social media. And if you sign up for the newsletter, all the links are in there. Okay, why don't we get into special topic territory for today? Today's special topic, again, is overcoming that feeling of procrastination. How do I get started? When do I get started? And jump-starting the ability to basically manifest and achieve your goals, okay? So let me decide which deck of cards I'd like to use for this portion of the reading, and we'll go from there. So I let the cards choose sometimes. Highest suit is what wins. All right. No, it's the Lovers. Okay. Well, actually, no, Wheel of Fortune. What am I saying? Okay. I really like this Lovers card. We'll use this one in the future. I'm going to put this one to the side. I was looking at the number. Sorry. All right. Give me a second here. All right. So if you just joined, take a moment, close your eyes, see yourself protected and connected to Source. Welcome in your angels, guides, and ascended masters in this moment in time. All right. We're trying to get beyond procrastination and wherever you might be stuck. So we're also overcoming stagnation. All right, let's get this all set up. We're going to start off with your Catalyst card. I like this. So the Catalyst helps you get into exactly what we're trying to do here, which is to jumpstart ambition. It's the Rose Garden. The card was flying out of my hands there. The card was reversed. So we'll talk about the butterfly and the caterpillar in a second, but when I think of a rose, I think of the time and care that it requires in order for the rose to bloom. My mom used to like it. Her dad used to like roses as well, but they were prone to things like aphids and mites. So you had to sometimes get beneficial insects like ladybug larvae and stuff like that to help cleanse the plant, or find some sort of way, diatomaceous earth, other things to kind of like help them, because they were very prone to insects and stuff like that. They needed pruning in order to grow. They needed special fertilizer. It's like a lot of work, but then you get that beautiful fragrant blossom and it's worth it. So there's work, there's pruning, there's clearing, detoxification, all the things that I mentioned for a rose. Figuratively speaking, if we apply it to our own life, there's some work to be done right now. It's not always comfortable, especially the pruning piece, but it's necessary. So in order to get that blossoming garden, you have to go through that. Also, I was talking about beneficial insects. Like, there might be things in your life that you can do that don't require, for some of you, this is a health thing. So maybe you're looking at a holistic approach to health, not just taking certain types of prescriptions and things, but also augmenting it. When I was healing this, I had to work with all of that. Yes, I had to do prescriptions, but then I had to do things that helped me recover from that. So people that have had to take really like massive antibiotics or chemotherapy or things like that, you know that you also have to rebuild your body afterwards, because these drugs break it down. So there might be something where you'll work with another type of health professional to rebuild it using vitamins, using a holistic approach. So make sure you're looking at all of that. Okay, so we have a little caterpillar here also showing that we go through phases and stages in our life. This is very much the absorption consumption stage where you're kind of soaking it all in, and you can't jumpstart to get to that butterfly until you go through digesting, integrating, and then transforming the chrysalis. There's like at least one step, but you're probably in that first step. So you're like 1.5 steps from the butterfly. Give yourself time, give yourself room, know that you're going to get there eventually. All right? All right. Let's take a look at your center card. I love that the Wheel of Fortune came forth. It was the card that helped us choose this deck. So phases, stages, sort of like levels of metamorphosis. No matter where you're at in the Wheel of Fortune, it keeps on turning. So if you are in that portion where you're feeling a lack or feeling the need to kind of push through, you'll eventually get on the other side. If you're in a really good cycle right now, enjoy it. Plan for the future. Create a safety net. It's just planning for all the stages and phases. So know that things cyclically change and ebb and flow. Don't judge the moment too much, and don't feel like it's going to be this moment forever. Everything changes. This is a time to focus maybe a little bit more on money, on reciprocity, on making sure that you're sustained. We are, these metaphysical, spiritual beings in a very physical 3D world. So we do need certain things like resources and money to help us. So make sure that you're paying attention to that part of your life. I'm realistic when I'm reading to say, yeah, sometimes we have those finite things that we need to control. So this is a time to get a better handle on that and know that you can change it around. And it's interesting that, the game Wheel of Fortune named itself kind of after a tarot card. I was talking about taking the leap, taking the risk, spinning the wheel. You might have to spin the wheel and say, I believe in myself. It's a calculated risk. I know what's on that wheel, and I'm not going to accept a bankrupt. There was in the 80s, there was a game, Press Your Luck, I think it was, and they would say no whammies. So there's no whammies, there's no bankrupt. You're just taking a calculated leap where you know that you've done the work, and if you can't see yourself succeeding again, how can anyone else? We're getting you out of that 8 of Swords moment. Okay, let me take a drink, and then we're going to talk about the stress of the 9 of Swords. I think this is one of the primary causes for the stagnation, for the procrastination. This is building up what ifs in your mind. What if they don't like me? What if it doesn't work out? What if? What's kind of interesting about this card is the light shining through the Venetian blind is creating the swords. It's an illusion. There's light, there's opportunity there. She's only seeing the shadow side of things or looking at things through a warped lens. So now, what if it works? What if I surprise myself? What if it's better than I anticipated? Two sides to the coin. Just flip the coin, flip the perspective. Yes, you can use fear to prepare. Well, all right, well, what if I need a little extra time here, a little extra money here. I need a plan B in case this falls apart. But what if it works? What then? So also have a plan B if it works. And start to imagine, well, what if I have too much money? What if I have too much time? What if I have too much attention? It can go in a positive way. You can get playful with the fear, okay? And you'll never know until you try. Some of you are tired. 9 of Swords can show insomnia, fatigue, or stress. So in order to deal with this, you might need an outlet for that. Exercise is great. Meditation is great. And they're free. You can turn on a YouTube video and exercise to any one of the creators that exist here on YouTube. You can listen to meditation, podcasts or things like that. There's a lot of free resources out there that don't require time, energy, or money, just a little bit of your attention. Okay? I think that's everything here. All right. Deep past is pretty good. We have the Page of Pentacles, and I love that this Page of Pentacles sees it. He has taken time to envision it, maybe even worked with a vision board. The only thing here is perfectionism. Picture perfect. So this page is really keen on it being in a certain way, shape, or form which can sometimes take you away from the imperfect creative process, which might come through at weird times or in different shapes from different people. So yes, imagine it, but also leave room for something different, something better, something more. Also, like for those of you that ever worked with developing, sometimes a mistake or maybe you missed a negative. So sometimes when you experiment a little bit, something better can come through. So don't be afraid to keep some of the outtakes because there could be some magic there where you're thinking it's not good enough and someone else is like, actually, I liked the first draft. That's better. You can go back to it. So keep all of your work. Just like the whiteboarding experience where someone else might not have seen it, we might have been able to use that to marry it with something else to make something better. That was just one person's point of view. And if they lack the imagination, that's on them. But like, don't close yourself in. That's kind of what I'm getting with this. The other thing is, if you have something really great, why are you sitting on it? Is it the feeling that it has to be perfect? Because if that's the case, most creative people will tell you the first drafts aren't always the best, or they're messy, or you don't understand where you're going, but you keep going and they're like, oh, here we go. All right, now I see how I'm going to put this together. Creativity is often it's going to take its own shape and form. So just be open. Don't feel like you have to be perfect on the first try. It's like playing an instrument. Usually the first time you're playing it, it's not going to sound good. But as you practice, as you listen, as you pay attention, as you learn, you start to perfect your craft. Just begin. And that's why the Ace of Wands is coming through and saying, just have fun. Get the pen on paper, get the brush on the canvas, paint a stroke, create something, and around that, other things will start to form. This is not just about what I was talking about, but also getting inspired. So if you're a writer, good writers read. They read other books. Good filmmakers are going to watch other people's films and see how they do their craft. I was recently reading a book and I thought to myself, oh, I might try that in a future one if I do another fiction book. And it was alternating third-person limited points of view because rather than just seeing everything through one person, whether it's from their point of view or you're like third-person limited, sometimes it's fun to go between two different narrators because it changes the pace and it gives you even more of what's going on. So I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I can alternate heads if I'm writing. So that's an example of getting inspired by someone else's writing. Looking at a film and saying, oh, look, that's an what is it called? Anamorphic lens or something when they can go a little bit wider. Or you're looking at shallow depth of field and how that kind of brings you into the person's face. So focusing on techniques and having some fun because it gives you an excuse to watch, listen, and experience things, right? So get inspired. Learn from a master, and then find your own voice, find your own vision, try it yourself, have a little sandbox where you get to play. But one of the best ways to learn is to experience, that's why we go to school, but you can do it on your own as an adult. So find someone that really inspires you and spend some more time with them. That's going to help you figure out how you can ignite your own spark, right? Okay. 3 of Cups, crowning position. Now that you know what you like and who you are and what inspires you, maybe find some other people that are doing the same. This can be I mentioned the example of reading. It can be a book club. This can be an extracurricular activity. This can be a few people that just have fun and encourage each other rather than shutting one another down. It doesn't have to just be dating because we see people here just spilling the tea, hanging out. It can be playful and actually they're playing a game too. But doing something where the joy is there, the playfulness is there, that's going to help you out in the long run. Yes, this might also be a time where you're opening yourself up to expand your network. So getting into like extracurricular activities, professional activities where you might meet new people, like an organization, maybe taking a class and just auditing it, not doing it for credit, just for experience, taking on a new sport because you're wanting to get healthy but also have fun so it doesn't feel like you're at the gym. Fun is the special ingredient, special sauce that you're putting into this. As long as it's fun, it's going to help you ignite the flame that we saw there, okay? There also might be someone new coming into your life that inspires you. Love is a great inspiration. Have you ever wondered, I mean, like if you ever looked at most of what we see out there in entertainment, music, it's a lot of love songs, right? Breakups, makeups, shakeups, love. Love is like 75% of music. Movies, same thing. Like good love stories, whether it's a comedy, a rom-com, romance, mystery. Usually there's love in there somewhere because it raises the stakes. You care a little bit more. You're rooting for somebody, right? So maybe you're going to put a little love in the mix in your own life. Either doing something that you love, spending time with people that you love, or loving someone. It's time to put some passion into the mix. And if you haven't done it in a while, having that fun, having that sense of passion, we got 2 cards here saying, love what you're doing, love who you're spending time with, and maybe a combination of the 2. Then it doesn't feel like work. Then it doesn't feel overwhelming. Then you actually start to see some momentum and movement. Okay. 9 of Pentacles in the reverse position. So this is a fiercely independent card. And a lot of times with this, everything that I just said, it's kind of difficult because you're like, I want to prove that I can do it. Okay, prove that you can do it. But that 10th pentacle could come from someone offering to lend you a hand and give you some support. So don't be afraid to accept or ask. It's today's daily card. Ask for help or receive help when it's offered. Now, the reason that I'm pulling this also is because there's a cute little snail on the card. So it takes time. I do feel like we're in this world where because of social media, because of digital devices, we expect everything lickety-split. So my favorite piece of this card is the little snail in the corner. And then also the fact that this is one of the most opulent and extravagant and like over-the-top cards. Like, does she really need a robe that's that elaborate? Does she need to have that partridge or whatever on her shoulder or hawk? Look at all the pentacles, all the grapes. It's more than enough. So one of the things that you can do is open yourself up to receiving. Sometimes we limit ourselves and think, well, it'd be nice if I could have this. I don't have to have. This card is saying, I'm open to all of it. And so I do kind of love the fact that she's just drinking it all in. If you've worked hard, take a moment to celebrate it. If you're settling for less, this woman comes through and says, honey, don't settle for less. You deserve even more. So we love Mrs. 9 of Pentacles because she's saying you're worth it. So never underestimate your potential. And then if someone wants to give you a little bit more, she's always accepted that and said, sure, come on in. And she's going to get to that 10 of Pentacles faster when she welcomes in possibly the love or the idea or the opportunity that's coming through with the 3 of Cups and the Ace of Wands. Someone may come through with an idea or an opportunity, and all you have to do is say, I could do it on my own, but I could also do it with this partnership, and it could be easier or better. And then I can get to that 10 of Pentacles moment, okay? All right. Don't rush, though. She doesn't rush. She is patient. Okay, we have the Page of Cups. It's in the reverse position, and it represents you. This is why the 3 of Swords came through for some of you. Sorry that I have to put the little strips on it. It's just so YouTube doesn't get crazy on me, because sometimes it will flag a video if I don't do that. All right, so with the Page of Cups in reverse position, is it good enough for you? Are you happy? Are you inspired? Do you feel it? And if you don't feel it, why are you doing it? This is your moment to really feel like there's something there for you. You could also use this moment to communicate and say, I want this or I don't want this, or I like this or I don't like this. Communicating our feelings, it feels like, is one of the hardest things for us to do because we don't want to hurt anyone else's feelings, because we don't want to come off too boldly. But not everyone is going to be walking around with a deck of 78 cards in their pocket. So we shouldn't expect people to read tea leaves or pull a tarot card to understand where we're at. This page is saying, I like it when this is this way. They're simply articulating what makes them happy. And by doing that, they can help orient themselves in situations where it's going to happen more often. And I think all of us like to hear what it is that people want. So he's looking at something and saying, I like that, or I don't like that. You're allowed to say both of those things. And if it's a healthy environment, you should be able to say, this doesn't make me happy, but this does. That's all this is. It's actually not creating boundaries. It's just expressing yourself and allowing yourself to also communicate expectations. It's really important in a relationship. It hurts me when you do this. I love it when you do that. Do you like this? So like making sure that your needs are met. If you can't do that in life, particularly in a relationship, but it can be any type of relationship, including friendship, then it's going to be very difficult to navigate, okay? Three of Pentacles, environment. Some of you are drawn right now to, no pun intended, but you are drawn to education, learning, knowledge expansion. So this is a great time to take a class, to learn something new. This card also typically has with it the energy of recognition and teamwork. So teamwork makes the dream work. Like I was saying with the Nine of Pentacles, you could do it yourself, but you could also work with the support of someone else, including an expert in their field. This is a card for all the writers out there. It's showing you that now is the time to put the pen to paper to make it happen. So education, learning and mastery, recognition, teamwork, writing, all of that is comprised within this. Also, we noticed that this artisan is really taking his time to chisel in those final details and is working with other people to make sure that he hasn't missed anything. So work with an editor, work with a second set of eyes or ears to make sure that you understand and haven't missed anything rather. Okay. Also, like once you put something into writing, it's almost like a contract with yourself and the universe. So you can use this as journaling is a great way to also manifest. Four of Wands, reverse position. You might be at a crossroads in your life. You might also be expecting, wanting, or wishing that someone else was right there with you. You might be leading the charge. So the Four of Wands is usually partnership. You're just the first to show up. It doesn't mean just because no one is there right now that you're not going to have friendship, love, or partnership. You're just a little ahead of the curve. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep setting the stage and know that eventually someone else is going to cross paths with you. The time isn't right now for some of you, and that's okay. Hold space. Keep working. Now, in the reverse position, you might be deciding, I want to create a space where this type of person can show up. And it can also be, by the way, a mentorship opportunity. So maybe you're at a point in your life where you've kind of done your career and everything. You're like, I want to give back. I want to create a safe space for this type of individual, whether it's a youth-oriented thing or maybe it's for people in your same age group and you're like, we need this. It's not out there. And I think if I could create the space, then people would come there and we could all support each other. That's a different version of the Four of Wands in reverse. It's imagining a gathering before it happens, okay? Be that which you seek and know that that will help pull in the partnership quicker as well. Also, some of you are just tired of this. So in a more traditional sense, this can be a kind of casual engagement, and this is more of a formal engagement. And that can be engagement in love and marriage or in business. It's like, I want something serious, something that I can count on. All right, the final card here in the Celtic Cross is about questions. We're kind of ending on a blue sky card on opportunities. And I think sometimes it's good to just be open. Some of you might be in the exploration phase of your life where you're like, kind of like a kid. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. So I'm going to try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that. You can do that for a while, but there is an important moment where you have to say, all right, I've sampled the buffet. Next time, I think I just want to focus on this because it was the best for me. Otherwise, it's a lot to digest, right? So just like eating all of these things at once isn't really manageable on a long-term basis. When you're casting a really wide net, you may not catch, I'm now using a fishing metaphor, but you may pull a bunch of different things that you don't need or want. You have to figure out what you're trying to catch, what you're trying to fish for in life. And the Seven of Cups starts wide and then kind of narrows. Think of it as an inverted pyramid. Ultimately, you need to be more specific and reach for that one thing. So it feels like some of you are more in the exploration and the questioning and the wide net sort of phase. Once you can get more specific, you can get more effective. So give yourself room, give yourself time. Maybe by the end of this week, since these tend to be more focused on a week at a time, you can get more specific on your goals, especially if you put a bunch on your list. I had a friend that did some sort of a 13 wishes and resolutions for the new year. That's a lot. That's a lot. Usually I would do 3 to 5 because it's easier to know where to start. If it's that many, unless you're breaking down one per month, it's a little overwhelming to know where to put the energy. So maybe cast a smaller net, but to each their own. Let's expand the forecast here. I'm assuming we're very close to the goal. So I'm going to do the same thing that I've been doing the past few weeks, where I don't necessarily break it down into every single level. And then I want to leave some time for just whatever needs to come through at the end. Okay, we're going to start off with the energy of health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. So let me see if I can find the card here. So for health, which I'll find in a moment, I just have to go to the right screen. Here's what we've got. We have an oracle, not an oracle, but a rune card that came through. And it's gift, reciprocation, easy for me to say, gift, reciprocation, and union. So I mentioned the power of partnership. So in your health and well-being, it could be advantageous to lean on the support of someone else. That could be someone like a therapist, a doctor, a mentor. Could also be like just being in a friendship and relationship can help because you don't have to carry the burden on your own, right? We had like 9 of Wands energy come through earlier, and I mentioned that sometimes that can just feel overwhelming. And I used the example of the bandage because sometimes you're just tired of doing it all or fighting it all on your own. This is about leaning into partnership. When it comes to things that you're putting your time and energy into, do you feel the reciprocation? Are you always the giver, or are you sometimes getting that gift right back and receiving? We just want to make sure that there's give and take in all that you're doing. All right, general messages around health. It might be time to prune or remove some things that are no longer serving your greater interest right now. Focusing on quality and quantity of sleep, making sure that you aren't giving too much energy into stress and anxiety, and that if you are, that you're finding ways to release that, okay? Everything in moderation. 3 of Cups shows that a little bit of fun and play can be good, but if you do too much, that's also going to lead into the 9 of Swords. If you work too much, it'll lean into that. We need to find the right balance between work, play, and rest. I really do think that it comes through as an activity. An extracurricular activity could be very advantageous right now. And then, speaking of overdoing it, the 9 of Pentacles in reverse, kind of like the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, can sometimes represent, it could be too much work, but it can also be, if you're eating something, it's too much of one thing. So if you carb load, protein load, sugar load, anything of that nature, it's just going to create a crash. So make sure that whatever you're doing, whatever you're putting into your body, it's not too much, okay? We've got a lot of cards around water. So also making sure that you're getting proper hydration and enough water compared to coffee or alcohol or other things, okay? Moving on to wealth. This is interesting. So we have isolation here. Remember that 2 of your cards, Wednesday and Friday, had the blindfolds on. The 2 of Swords sometimes is feeling like you're alone in a crowded room. The 8 of Swords could also be habits that actually isolate you or pull you back from a larger group, even antisocial things, choosing to work on your own rather than maybe partnering up. So what we're trying to do right now is to break up the routines a little bit. If you work from home, like myself, this is also something that's real because you don't have as many organic opportunities to meet new people. I am so happy that I work on my own, but my coworkers have changed and shifted. Now, I have a lot of friends that are in the intuitive world because that's kind of where I put my time and energy now. But I used to make work friendships much faster when I had a traditional corporate job because you were constantly meeting new people, clients, new coworkers, new bosses, and I still have a good percentage of my now friend group that come from former jobs. So it's important to Find places that can fill that void if you work from home or remotely, or you're retired, or you're a student and you work remotely. There's a lot of us that now do remote work. So that's where going to like an exercise class, whether it's spinning or yoga or kickboxing, I don't care, whatever. Finding something where you have a like-minded group of people, or another activity like a book club, or an artistic class like painting, pottery, or whatever it is. Find your niche and make sure that you're not feeling alone. There are other people that probably are going through the same thing. Okay. Also, making sure that if you are in a traditional job, that you aren't feeling like you're not kind of over isolating yourself. People need to see what your contributions are. I'm going to do what I've been doing for the monthlies, which is to gently, not health, we're in wealth, gently go into these categories without overdoing it. So if you're employed, stress management and bubbling up your contributions are important. And one of the ways that you can do that is through teamwork. So it's very important right now to lean into working in groups, working well in groups, even though you can do it all on your own, and possibly better. It is important to share the knowledge and let people see how you work well with others. If you don't understand something, ask. Stress management is the most important thing right now. If you're an entrepreneur, focusing too much on the bottom line is probably going to kill the inspiration. So yes, you need to look at the money and all of that. You might need to prune out a couple of things that aren't performing, but ask your clients, ask your customers what they like, reward the ones that are the most loyal, and really start working on the next big thing. Focus on the quality of something and don't cut corners. I think right now that you might be spreading yourself too thin. So I do think that cutting out maybe 20 to 30% of the stuff that isn't performing or doesn't fulfill you, that's what's key. Also with this isolation card, more marketing and more social media presence. Job seekers, overcoming the stress. And I was talking about the self-fulfilling prophecies, like I'm never going to find something. I don't necessarily think that's true. I really like these energies for you. Having fun, continuing to network, but also talking to your friends and family and seeing if they know someone. You just need one firm contact to help you open up a door. So networking and extracurricular, you could find it in the extracurricular. So someone at the gym, someone at, a friend's birthday party. It's those weird social interactions where they're like, oh yeah, I know somebody. Give me your card. Have a card on you, by the way. If you don't normally carry a card, make sure that you have a calling card so that people know how to get in touch with you. That was something I wish I had a week ago too, because I had a random meeting. What is it that you're trying to do? Have your elevator pitch ready when someone says, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What do you want to do with this? Why are you interested in this? Really get clear on what your career vision is. That will help differentiate yourself. Students, this is also important. I waited until like almost my final semester in grad school to think about, well, what am I going to do outside of here? It would be so much better going into undergrad, grad, or even just like an internship to know what you're trying to do, because you can align all of your other activities much more wisely and effectively. Page of Cups in reverse. Are you happy and satisfied with the path that you're on? If not, make sure that you love what you're studying and you know how this is going to make a difference, because it does feel like some of you are really keen on like doing something of quality, not just that makes money. That was very much like an old Piscean, previous century way of doing it. Get a job, 9 to 5, do it till you retire. But what did it give those people but stress, right? So do something that inspires you, that can make a difference, that yes, you can earn a living at, but there has to be joy and satisfaction in it. So make sure you love it and do more of what you love in your curriculum. Retirees. It really feels like the focus is on networking right now. And then also developing something within yourself, education and questioning, like, what else is there? It's very existential. This is getting into the big questions. What am I going to do with the time that remains? How can I give back to the people that I care about? And maybe some travel in the future if you're interested. All right, let me take a drink and then we're going to go into the energy of love and relationships. All right. We have communication coming through. This is why I was talking so much about this. Being able to express. I like this, I don't like that. So important, because then the partner doesn't have to throw runes on the table and try and figure out what you're saying. So speak. We have Spirit Talker coming through here. This is also, for some of you, really leaning into your intuition and your mediumship abilities, developing that a little bit more, talking to like I have conversations with my relatives that are no longer here saying, oh, I wish you could see this, or thank you for teaching me this. They can hear it. They love it. They're applauding on the other side. So thank your ancestors, thank your parents, thank your relatives that are gone in spirit but gave you something. That gratitude helps open up new paths. But also listen to your higher insights is coming through as well, because you're also always downloading and talking to yourself. The voice of reason that hopefully most of you have going on in your head, which is like, you really should do this or you shouldn't do this, and you know it's for the right reason, listen to that too. Okay, but just generally we're looking at better communication in partnerships. If you're already partnered, what I like about it is the playful energy of the Three of Cups and the commitment of the Four of Wands. We want a nice blend of the two. Like, you want to know that you have each other's backs, but also have some fun. Put some passion into the mix. And intimacy, like I always like to remind you, isn't just what happens in the bedroom. It's also sharing common goals with one another. Travel, sports, games, whatever it is that you like. That time that you spend together doing the same thing that you love, that's also intimacy. Talk about your fears, talk about your hopes, talk about your dreams, because that's dreaming, that's fear, and that's what you like. All of those things, hopes, fears, and dreams, come into the equation of a really good relationship. If we look at the diagonal, which tells the story here, it feels like many of you had a very clear vision of what you wanted. You've worked really hard to achieve a lot of that, but there's always room for something new. And real life isn't what you see in the movies and books. It's messier. I tend to like flawed protagonists because they're more relatable. If someone is a superhero, it's good to know if they still have to struggle with something. So your partner isn't a superhero. Neither are you. There's no perfection. But are you trending in the right direction? If you are, that's good. Talk to them. Ask them what's going on. What I like about this is they're probably thinking about you. And I had a situation the other day where I was thinking of texting someone and they texted me anyway, like within 15 minutes. I was like, let them text first. Maybe they have something to say. And they did. And so just opening yourself up and thinking, if you want to talk, probably the other person wants to talk too. Take the first step if you want to. It was funny because I was like, yeah, I'm not surprised. I knew that we needed to talk. Okay, talk. Open up the conversation. If you're single and looking, can you find someone? Yes, but take your time. The energy wants to sit in the Three of Cups even if you want the Four of Wands. Get to know the person. Talk to them about what they're trying to accomplish in their life, where they're at, etc. It feels like you're pulling in a very hard worker right now. We have Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces energy, but a lot of work energy around it and a little bit of fear of jumping into something too serious, even though there's potential for that. So just enjoy the moment. It feels like it's right now a little bit more physical or a little bit more casual, but it has the potential to go the distance. Single and happy, good for you. You can put so much energy into work and education. Make some time to get out there and mix and mingle, though, because there are partnerships that are awaiting. New friendships at the very least. And those friendships are important because they can help you as you get into more challenging parts of your life. In the destiny position, we have Yophiel coming through. Trust the unfolding. There is no wrong path, only choices that take you closer or further from love. I feel like this card is perfectly connected to that. There's no wrong path. What do you feel closest or more closely aligns to what it is that you love or want or desire. That's where you want to focus your energy. Okay. We have extra time. Thank you, everybody, for helping us meet the goal for today. I kind of did a little bit of this in the weekly, not the weekly, but the full moon reading that I did, and I'm like, I want to do more of that for today. So let's kind of go in the flow. We're not going to try to control or, sort of like manage what wants to come through. I'm going to ask questions that I'm inspired to ask and see where it brings us, okay? Okay, I want to use a different deck for this. We'll start with this one. I have some other ones that I'll pull in a second, but this one for now. All right, so right now, what is the biggest hurdle that is inhibiting your ability to accomplish your ambition? Okay, so Queen of Swords in reverse. She can be the inner voice saying critical things. You're too old. You need more education. You're past your prime. None of these things are true. But she's critical. It's echoes. This is something I heard in meditation too, or I saw to the best degree that you can see an echo, but I just kind of saw energy bouncing around. So it's probably stuck in your head. It's probably from a Queen of Swords in your life, a reverse Queen of Swords. Yes, it can be a divine feminine energy like a mother, but it can be anybody that's coming through that's critical. Boss, friend, colleague, partner. Tune them out. Frequencies can be tuned in and tuned out and just say, yeah, that doesn't work anymore. And so you can use it to motivate yourself like an athlete might and say, I'll show you. Yes, I can. Yes, I can do this. Yes, I am young enough, experienced enough, beautiful enough, whatever it is that you don't feel like you're enough. And who are you to judge me? I'll show you. So you can use that energy to inspire that athletic approach towards accomplishing and chasing and finally achieving the ambition. You just might need a little distance from what you're trying to do to see the path in front of you. For whatever reason, the other night, I didn't finish it. I was like, oh, I'll rewatch this another time. But I was looking at the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie Labyrinth, and I think that the exact words like you taking for granted the opportunity or the opening. There was an optical illusion where all she had to do was kind of like walk around, and there was a path there. The little worm told her the wrong way. I forgot. I watched that as a kid and then again as an adult, but I was like, for some reason, I need to watch Labyrinth for a few minutes, and I think it was for this conversation. From a distance, it looks easy, but when you're in the middle of it, you can't always see the way out or through. So sometimes we have to get above the labyrinth in front of us. And then also, sometimes what seems like a block or a wall might actually be an opening. In life, you might have to go up, down, or around that. There's another way, there's another path. So imagining that there might be something different and looking at the pattern or the design so that you're not stuck on something that, seems like it's a full stop when it's not. Okay. What can accelerate your progress in this moment in time? So we have the Six of Swords, which can basically saying a change of location can help. Change could do you good. Sometimes we get too stagnate. We stagnate in a particular place, like work, school, home, and doing something different. Like the writers in the group will understand this. Sometimes all you have to do is take your iPad or your laptop, and in my case, also your dog, and go to a cafe for 30 minutes. Sometimes that white noise, the movement of people, the sort of like that energy that moves around you gets you in a different space, and you start moving, your thoughts start racing. You're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this. And you can use the energy around you to feed your own sort of like thought process. The wheels start to move because you're no longer in a stagnant situation. That's why sometimes it helps to work in a public place, because the movement around you can move things. Taking a trip, I talked about getting inspired. Sometimes going to a different country, city, province, etc., and you're like, the language is different, the food is different, the environment's different. My neurons are firing and making new connections. There's new bridges that are forming in my head because all of that is different, right? So the energy of change and movement is helpful. Exercise is helpful. Taking a walk. So I heard this, I'm this type of person. So if you talk to me on the phone, I'm walking around. I'm putting dishes in the dishwasher. I'm putting cards back on the shelf. I'm shuffling and I'm moving. And they said it's because if you stagnate, like your memory recall isn't there, but like when you're moving and doing things, you're making more connections in your head. I was like, thank God. I thought I was just restless when I had a conversation. I like movement. It helps my thought process. So I will pace around and move around, and it's helping me think. So sometimes that energy of just moving, walking, exercising can help the brain get the like cobwebs unlocked. So take a trip, change the environment, taste something different, try something different, do something different, move. The main thing is move. Get off the bed, get off the couch, get out of the chair. This displacement card is interesting because it might also be that you just feel like you're in the wrong place and you might need to move or snap into a different space in order to thrive. There is something in astrology, astrocartography is what it's called. And basically it is the study of your birth chart when you're kind of overprinting it on geographical lines. Sorry about the sirens in the background. But there might be a different space that, like certain things like where your sun is, where your Jupiter is, where Pluto is, this can affect how you are thriving or not thriving in career, in life, etc. So maybe take a look at your astrocartography, and I think there are some astrology websites that can help you chart it out to kind of like figure out, am I in the wrong place? But in a more figurative situation, it could just be sort of like, I don't feel like I fit in this relationship, at this job, or doing this activity. I want to try something else. It's changing it up a little bit is what I'm seeing with all of that. Okay. Okay, so the next thing that's coming through is clearing. What do you need to clear from your life in this moment in time? Okay, Two of Swords. It's very interesting that we have her sitting underneath a birdhouse and we have two people, well, it's representing that, two energies above her chattering. So sometimes we allow the lack of vision, because that's really what the Two of Swords represents, lack of vision, lack of imagination from oftentimes our parents and teachers to get in the way. To all the sort of ricocheting and echoing energy, you're not this enough, you're not that enough, it can actually block us. So I've talked about this before, but when something magical happened to me when my father got a job transfer and went from one of the western states to the East Coast, because I was in a school that was not good. Not all schools, not all teachers are great. I had teachers there that didn't enjoy their job. One of them just told my parents, and this is an example of me using fuel. I later used that and I'm like, I'll show you. But they told my parents your son will be lucky to even get through elementary school or graduate, which was such a terrible thing to say. And that they said that I smiled too much, I laughed too much, I talked too much. And my dad, thank God, he stood up and he's like, so you want me to tell him to stop being happy? I'm not going to kill his spirit. And my mom said, and who are you to say that he can't? Like, thank God my parents stood up for me. And the best thing that happened was I moved to another school where the very first day I got to meet the principal because I was a new kid and we came in the summer and they said, you've got great grades. We're so happy to have you here. You're going to love it. And we're going to partner you up with someone so your first day is great. And I was like, I almost wanted to cry, and I still kind of want to cry because It makes such a difference to have someone believe in you. And just to prove that stupid teacher wrong from the 3rd grade, I went all the way through grad school and I started my own business. I'm like, you have no idea. So there are people out there that put us in a little box and tell you you can't do it. Shame on them. So if you ever had a parent that told you you were dense or you were dumb, if you had a teacher who told you you would never make it or you shouldn't do something because it wasn't good enough, show them that they're wrong. Use your energy to do something that you want to do. And shame on those teachers. I had some amazing ones. So the reverse is true. I had nothing but good teachers in the other place that my parents moved me. Like amazing. And so it's environment, shifting of environment. So it really matters. So if you have a kid and they're being not supported, like maybe try to find a different school if you can and fight for them. And if you see someone in your life that's getting picked on, fight for them if you can and help show the reverse. Because when I became a manager and a boss, I led in a different way. One of my best bosses said, I will assume that you're going to do amazing work. And if you have questions, you'll ask me. And basically they led with faith and support. And because of that, I wanted to do better. I thrive in environments where people believe in me. And I disengage when they don't. So that place where it was a PTSD. So where there was no support, I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore. It reminds me of the 3rd grade. You remind me of my 3rd grade teacher. I don't want this. Because if you're not going to support ideas, or if you're actually going to belittle me in front of other people, then it's not going to work. So environments matter, and words matter, and support matters. So if there are people around you that can't see you for who you are, you don't have to change for them. And if you can advocate for a marginalized group or person, do it. You don't know how much your support might change that person's life, whether it's an underprivileged kid or an unsupported kid or a colleague at work that just always gets like they assume that they're not going to work. Also, speaking of a work situation where I was supposed to put someone on a plan because they weren't performing, they ended up getting like the best score ever because I really took it serious where I'm like, here's how we're going to make it better for you. And then they thrived. And so my boss was like, I don't know how you did that, but all right. They're doing the best work that they've ever done. And it's because instead of threatening them, I supported them. So lead with support. It can make such a difference. Find places where people lead with vision, faith, support, and encouragement. Because I believe that there really aren't bad kids. There are just parents that aren't listening and teachers that aren't giving the kids the benefit of the doubt. So we need more of that and that's actually where so all of us, if we can, should give back in some way, shape, or form to the kids, because if we reincarnate anyway, the next time we come around, hopefully those kids have made a difference. It's never wasted energy. Even if your life is, if you're in your golden years, you can still give back and make it a better world for the next time you reincarnate. Okay. Spring, new beginnings. You're never too old. You're never too young for a new beginning. And this kind of reminds me of cellular stuff, like the mitochondria and the different parts of the cell, even though we're looking at other things here. So plant the seeds now for the growth that's going to happen next. And know that you're always capable of finding your power, finding your strength again, okay? That inner child, I didn't even know that I'm still upset about that teacher, but that's something I can meditate on. It's also interesting, you always remember the best and worst teachers, their names. The ones that are in the middle, I don't remember their names, but I know that one teacher's name for sure. We're not going to share it. We're not going to give it power, but focus on loving the inner child and telling them that they're good enough. That's something I'm going to do later. Like, you're more than enough. And it really does matter how you talk around other people. Use your words as things that are like the balloons that lift people. Oops, not that one. We don't want to count it down. I have another one with just balloons. But like as things that lift people up rather than break them down. And if you can't do that, then don't. Here, we'll just use this because they're like little balloons. We want that, like the little hardy balloons there. Okay, how can you heal the inner child since that came through? Okay. So heal the inner child, Two of Pentacles. You can't make everyone happy. You have to choose something that works for you. Also, just in general, because we pulled the Two of Pentacles, you might be spreading yourself too thin. The reversal of this is saying you know what it is that you want to release, but it's hard to do so. The Crow. Never underestimate your own intelligence. Doesn't matter what someone said, you're smart enough. And what I love about crows are they're problem solvers. So they have the ability to use tools to think through things. So use your instincts and use your higher reasoning to figure something out. It's a underappreciated bird, crows. The Elephant, kind of like Lord Ganesha, reversed. Okay, so also a misunderstood animal. They're more graceful than they're big. They're going to make loud noises and everything, but they're actually graceful. Graceful and intelligent. Both of these cards represent a very smart animal. Crows can see things from all perspectives because they can fly. Elephants can push through any sort of challenge in front of you. So you're going to use a combination of vision and tenacity with these two cards. And you're going to be discerning with your time and energy as well. And to go to the inner child piece, you're going to release the need to please everybody. Because when you're brave enough to just do what's right for you, you'll start to be happier in life in general as well. All right, let's take a look at what the poll here was and see what some of you are struggling with in this moment in time. Personal and career growth. Okay, so 43% of you said, hey, Nicholas, I'm having a hard time achieving what I want to in my career. I think we can all relate to that. So let me choose a different deck here. Okay, so for career, we're going to do 3. Okay, how can we jumpstart your ambitions and goals in career? So we have more than 3 that came through. Okay, so in the energy of the past, you were a giver, not a receiver. You gave and gave and gave. Queen of Pentacles is the second sort of maternal card to the Empress. She has the ability to create, to nurture, and to oftentimes help others. An example in everyday life would be like a producer. They're behind the scenes, they're doing all the work, everything's great, but they very rarely get the credit like that the actors would or the director would. But the producer is so important. I spent time working in production. Without them, people aren't going to show up on set. Things aren't going to get done. Permits won't happen. They all deserve I think the same credit. The producer, the director, and the writer, all like just give them equal credit because without any of them, it's not going to happen. Okay. So ask for what it is that you need. Take a little bit more for yourself. Focus on making sure that you get what's necessary. Self-care is one of the missing pieces here to get you to where you need to be. Also, like when it comes to the next job or opportunity, making sure that the money is where it needs to be, because many of you were working and getting not what you deserve to be getting. Like this can be inequity due to gender bias, age bias, or just someone who is cheap. So now we're not going to do that anymore. Okay. Focusing on what's coming through right now, the Two of Cups. We looked at so many partnership opportunities in the main spread. So this is about leaning into your existing network, maybe doing what I was talking about, giving back to the next generation, but learning from others, getting inspired from others, taking classes. Teamwork makes the dream work, and someone around you that can champion you and say, hey, let me help you get to the next level could be very advantageous right now. There were 2 cards that came through for the future. So you can indeed, when it's your own sort of heart, fix a broken heart. So we have the 3 of Swords here, also tying up to Thursday, I think it was, of the week ahead. This time around, choose a different path. So for me, one of the many reasons I quit my job, my path to the career path was the loss of a parent and then understanding that life is finite. So when my dad passed away, he was just like, how did it all go so quickly? Those were like some of the last words he told me before going into hospice, and it was very fast. But I remembered that. It's like, where did the time go? And so I don't ever want to look back and think, where did the time go? I want to take all the risks that I want to take when it comes to dreams and opportunities. And when I am on the other side in soul review, I want to just think, I gave it my best. I did everything. And I accomplished this, this, and this. And I want to just kind of feel that sense of relief. Don't hold back because something didn't work before. Your happiness should not be sacrificed at the altar of success or acceptance. So if you have to deplete, diminish, or release happiness in order to achieve, it's not the right choice. Or to receive love, it's not the right choice. You are a magical being that is deserving and capable of happiness and success. These two things can be blended. There are times in our life that we just do a job because we have to, but this is deeper. We're looking at like purpose and career and how to mesh the two together. So something where you feel like you're actually able to use all of your skills too. So the magician is multifaceted. He's an hyphenate, like when there's actor, producer, photographer, whatever. This person is all of those things, and they're accessing all of those skills. So in order to thrive, you need to find a place where you can use all of the things in your wheelhouse and have some fun and feel like you're doing something amazing, right? And you deserve to be happy and successful. So find areas in your life where you feel that sense of community, reciprocity, and possibility. It's not always going to be the immediate or the next job, but long term, when we're looking at how you're spending your time on the planet, let's make sure that some of that is happening, okay? All right, why don't we take a look at we're going to wrap up here, but maybe one more here, which is two more. We'll do two more. What is it that you're avoiding that is inhibiting things? So what are you trying to put under the rug right now? Interesting. Interesting and unexpected. Hold on. And why? Okay. So some of you have sacrificed or ignored love and relationships. And Uriel comes through saying, learning experience, take time to review, study, and hone your knowledge before proceeding further. So you might be mending that broken heart. Some of you might be afraid that you're going to repeat an old pattern, but it is really important to make room for love, happiness, and joy. And life isn't necessarily complete without that. Love doesn't have to just come from sex or marriage or things like that. It can be your pet. It can be an activity that you do. It can be the art that you produce. But we have been getting a lot of partnership cards. So at least with respect to friendship, there needs to be a little bit more of that. Focus on that right now, okay? Uriel is a great archangel, very gentle archangel to work with. Direct, but gentle. So take a look at why maybe you've been closing yourself off to feeling joy, and let's fix that. Now, show me something that you need to see, but hopefully something joyful. We're going to try to, what's a hidden blessing? Let's put it this way, in the future. Tell me more about this hidden blessing. All right, so the Chariot. One of the things that's going to happen over the course of this month is speed, momentum, and movement. You may have two directions that you have to choose from. These horses are not necessarily going in the same direction. A choice is in front of you. We have the perfect key here and the heart space. So really know this. You already have what it takes to unlock a path or two in front of you. I want you to follow your heart this time and do what feels right. It will go faster than the other path. One path looks good on paper. One path might be what you're expected to do. The other path is what you want to do. Invariably, what you want to do is going to probably go faster, and you'll be better at doing that than you might imagine. Okay. Thank you for allowing me to do the bonus. When I do that little goal and you guys vote for it, it's an energy exchange. I show up and we can do something magical and different every time. All right, we're going to wrap up this reading. We have a couple of additional parts. We'll start off with a very brief meditation, and then I'll pull one final card. So please close your eyes for a moment. The image of a rainbow comes through as I'm closing my eyes. Imagine that you are stepping outside just after a storm. You can see the sun shining, and there's a rainbow overhead, a double rainbow, in fact, and you're underneath the center of the arch, the double arches. You can smell the scent of ozone and earth, the petrichor, there's a fancy word for it, that kind of pungent smell. It's almost as if the earth is around you, particles are around you, so you're bringing earth and air together. Know in this moment that your dreams are starting to take flight, that you are capable and ready to dust off the cobwebs of the wounded heart, and you see that rainbow's end in front of you. Imagine that you could, figuratively speaking, walk towards the end of the rainbow, towards your goal, towards your dream, and know that you're deserving of it. Really feel in this moment you are ready, you are worthy, and you are most importantly deserving of all that is coming through. Take a couple of deep breaths and really feel that sense of worth, because that is going to bring in higher frequency opportunities and more reciprocity. On the next natural exhale, I'd like you to open your eyes and turn your attention towards a final question and final card. This is your moment to ask Spirit anything that might still be on your mind, and then we'll wrap up. We'll pull a oracle card for this one as well. Okay, like I said earlier, if you don't take a risk, nothing is going to happen, but you want to take a calculated risk. So that's the first thing that comes through. If you don't know what the risks are, find out and make sure that you're comfortable with the trade-off. If it was a yes or no, it's a not now. The devil is clear on that. You need more time, you need more information. Also, whatever's in front of you may be too limiting. It's interesting here that the tongue is kind of tied, and it feels like for some of you, the ability to speak freely and openly and honestly might be inhibited. And until you can fully speak what's on your mind, it might be difficult to step into something. General energy about the devil. The devil presents an opportunity that doesn't supply what's required. It takes more than it gives, always the devil. There are hidden things beneath the surface which require more time to understand. But invariably, if I meet with a devil opportunity, I usually am going to try to find something different, because even if you negotiate something favorable, you still were dealing with this dude. And in the long run, there may be more problems that arise. So I feel like there's something better, or that the time isn't right, or that you're not ready. Understand and evaluate the risks. Ask yourself, is it worth it? And if it's not, don't do it. If it's only a fear, you can get through that. If the risk is just not getting what you want, or maybe, someone saying no, well, that's okay. But if the risk is greater and you don't want to do that, that's fine. You have to understand the risk and calculate it for yourself. I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you this much: the time isn't right now. Give yourself time and evaluate a little bit. And don't accept less than you're worth, for sure, whenever that card comes through. Okay. So, first of all, thank you. Thanks for showing up. I'd like to say thanks to everybody for just being here. If you enjoyed this, you can show some support by sharing this on social media. There's a little share button beneath the video. Every time someone shares from YouTube, that helps. So you can share it to Twitter, share it to Facebook. I was going to say FaceTime. Facebook or wherever, using the share button here. Additionally, if you want to show some love, many of you have already done it. You can do it through Super Sticker, Super Chat, and memberships. And welcome to the newest members as well. And of course, like and subscribe. I'm going to leave that up because sometimes people forget. But I'd like to give a little bit of thanks and gratitude to everybody that showed up today. So let's start off by recognizing those that gave back. So let me get to the start of this. Welcome to one of the newest channel members, Golden Hawk Readings. Welcome. Good to have you here. Colette, thank you for being number 2 contributor in chat, for being a member, and for giving me a sticker today. Much appreciated. Claude or Cloud, thank you for your sticker. Same thing with Blue Butterfly, who's also a member. Thank you. Deborah, thanks for your sticker. Kathy, good to see you. Thank you for being a member and giving a sticker. Same to Jamie. Appreciate you as well. Same thing to Colette. And I think this is the second time you gave a sticker. Thank you for that and your membership. Raven, thanks for gifting a membership and being a member. Much appreciated. Angel, thank you so much for your sticker and membership. Sinister Days, thanks for the sticker. Casey Bloom, thanks for the sticker. Same thing to QZ422. Appreciate the membership and the sticker. Sharon, thank you for the membership and sticker. And by the way, I guess that was your third super on a live stream, so thanks for that as well. Melanie Morris, thank you for your sticker and for your first contribution on a live stream. Glad you did it here. Thank you very much. Jay Chance, welcome. Good to have you. I'm glad you joined today. Colette, thank you again for another sticker and again for being the number 2 contributor. NetChick41, thanks for your membership and sticker. Danny, I think it is. Yeah, Danny. Or Daniela with the 3 instead of the E. I got it. Thank you for being number 3 contributor. Wishing you a happy new year as well. Thank you so much. And thanks for being a member too. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Anne, while I was stepping away to give a sticker and for being a member. Appreciate it. Same thing to Colette. I appreciate the return stickers on all of these. K and X 420, thank you for your sticker and membership. Alice, same. Shelly, same. NetChick, thank you again. Same to you. Okay, let's see. Also, Teresa, thank you for your sticker and membership. Colleen, number 1, thank you for the sticker and membership. Angie Wilson, I appreciate your sticker. Colette, thanks again for all your contributions today. Let's see. Leslie and Corey, thanks for your stickers. Colette, again, thank you very much. Georgia, good to see you. Thank you for your sticker and membership. Colette, thank you again. Sam Murphy, I'm glad that this reading helps you. It looks like you're moving classrooms mid-year and it's not going well. You know, stick with it. Speaking of schools, whether you're a teacher or a student, it can be tough. I hope it gets easier for you, but thanks for being a longtime member and for giving that feedback and for the sticker too. I appreciate it. Yolanda, thanks for your sticker. Same thing with Karen. Anwalk, thank you again. Colette, thank you again. JA33998, thanks for your sticker and for being a member. Kieran or Karen 101, thank you so much for your sticker and for membership and kind comment. Rivers Edges, thanks for your sticker. Deborah D, thank you so much for being a member and giving a sticker. Same thing for Alice, or All Is Well. I'm sorry, All Is Well in CA. Thank you. Sometimes they're all thrown together, the letters, so I have to read it. Is it Maha or Mahana Light? Thank you so much. I'm glad that this is in alignment with what you're feeling. Thanks for your sticker and membership. Thank you, MPSLEIMAN. Thank you for your sticker. Jean with a bunch of X's around it. Thanks for your sticker and membership. And let's see, Alice Singh. Thank you as well for your sticker and membership. I think we got through everyone and everything. Thank you, Dakota, for your help today. Happy New Year to everybody. We did a New Year's reading as well, so you can check that out. Many people have been asking when are the remaining readings coming out this week. Just a lot that I'm juggling at once, so thank you. We'll get all of those out hopefully by Thursday, if not sooner. I'm going to try to do 2 to 3 per day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so we can get those final videos out. Wrapping things up today, thank you to DRADIELKA. Thank you so much for yours. And also, is it Cersei? Cersei, thank you for sending a membership. All right, guys, take care. Have a great day ahead. Stay safe and warm if the weather isn't great. Like you can see, it's a stormy day behind me. Much love and light to all of you. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.